mic, but yeah, it looks very formal, but I love the energy here. I kind of spent some time with all of you. First of all, awesome work so far, and the interpretation is beautiful. Though there were some strange coincidences, probably in the last row out there, where people took up a topic which probably I cannot disclose because it's a competition. Yeah, overall space as well as energy, awesome. One small correction is I'm not a user experience designer. I design for experiences. I believe there is nothing called user experience designer, but unfortunately that's the word people have coined these days. So yeah, I work in IBM, and it's been a 14 years of sweet journey so far. I also see my seniors Rahul and Karishma. So it's a nice place to probably see others and learn from you guys as well. So I'll be there for some time, and in case you need help, I'm always there. And I'm also reachable on LinkedIn, and my phone number is shared as well. So I think I have about 10 minutes time, 10-15 minutes time, or I can take my own time. Okay, I won't yap further, but I'll start off. At IBM, yeah, so Aishwarya also used to work in IBM, but no longer now. So we have this, I'm going to talk about two things. One is service design blueprint, and another is design thinking framework, because I'm also supposed to promote IBM in these common forums. It's part of my roles and responsibilities at IBM. So please bear with me. It's full of jargons, so it's no longer like friendly for the audience. So I'll have to explain probably most of it. So this literature is free, available in the URL that you see, and I guess this deck is shared with the organizers, so they can kind of share it with all of you in case you want to access this. It's got a lot of materials which will be useful, hopefully, in your day-to-day work. So I will start, and feel free to ask questions at any given point of time when I'm presenting. So there's nothing called rude interruptions or something, right? So can everyone see the slide out there, the last row especially? Yeah, great, awesome. And it can be interactive as well, so just keep speaking if you have any questions. Great. So I'll start with the middle row, which is the loop, right? Because that's what probably you will be doing today. So the loop is basically consists of 3 action verbs: observe, reflect, and make. It's very simple, 3 action verbs. So yesterday, I believe most of you came up with a problem statement using the how might be. Though in most of the cases, I would say we use the jobs to be done framework, which is more about one of the teams probably I had kind of sensitized with, wherein you construct a kind of a problem statement using a situation, a motivation, and an expected outcome. It kind of makes it richer, but how might be is also equally powerful, and most of them have their statements in place. Some of these teams have it pretty much narrowed down the statement, so the ideation kind of will be limited. Try to keep your problem statement a bit open is what I would say. Don't make it too funnel. So coming to the observe part, everyone knows. Any clue about what is observe, guys? What would be observe phase? Okay, yeah, it's more about data gathering, understanding the ecosystem, look at how systems communicate with each other. It's a start of a systems design wherein you speak a lot with your stakeholders, try to understand who your target audience is, who is related to your problem. So today, I think some of your time, if you're in a team, will be split into that activity of a research phase. Post that, what we will do is what we do in the reflect phase, wherein once you kind of diverge, you need to kind of converge. So the reflect phase is all about getting together those inferences. It would be more of a hypothesis, I would believe, because we won't have much of a qualitative research in this particular room. Maximum you would be interviewing probably people around you, and that may not be accurate, so it would be kind of skewed. So based on whatever qualitative research you have done, you can come up with some inferences, and then you start creating your prototype tomorrow. So by end of the day today, you will probably have a service design blueprint and an access journey, which will also give you opportunity hooks. That's basically the loop. I will probably, is anyone aware of a service design blueprint in this room? Only one? Two? Okay, great, then I can actually show, because I thought most of you would know what a service design blueprint is. Quickly going to the principles, I don't want to stress too much on it. It's more about, focusing on user outcomes. Everything is a prototype, that's why we call it a restless reinvention. So long back, people wanted to move from point A to point B, so they used to walk. Then someone thought of animals, so you had horses and other vehicles related to animals like horse carriage, bullock carts, tongas, and all coming up. But they were still moving from point A to point B. Now we have vehicles which are powered by, we have electric vehicles, diesel vehicles, and all those things, but still we are moving from point A to point B, so it's still being a prototype, and probably tomorrow in the future it will be more of teleportation. You still move from point A to point B. So everything is a prototype for us, so whatever you're actually creating is still a prototype, and it's a work in progress, even though it might work well. You have to work in diverse teams, which is what I love. So the team naming is still not great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doesn't make any sense. It should reflect as to what you're really creating or building, because designers create stuff. So probably I would encourage you to move away from team 1, 2, 3 and have your own team names, which probably reflects what you're doing, right? By the way, all these teams have, I guess, a good mix of designers as well as coders and developers. So that's a great start, I would say. The last one is the keys. So we usually use keys in a very agile methodology. The keys have hills, playbacks, and sponsor users. Hills are basically epics. If anyone knows about agile, it's more of a statement. I would say like the problem statement is a hill. The terminology comes from a defense or a military system wherein the captain or the colonel will say, let's capture that hill. So it's like a goal that you need to achieve. So that's what hill is. You have playbacks, which is basically within your team you will do a playback, or probably out here in the dais you have a playback wherein you try and align everyone to the story that you're narrating. And finally you have sponsor users. Ideally you would have your users, representatives, to look at your solution and evaluate it and say, whether it will work for the targeted segment or not, right? So that's a short intro on what we do at IBM and the kind of methodology we follow. It's very standardized. It's nothing new actually. It's just reworded and kind of put in a framework. Yeah, any questions? Okay, that means either I made sense or I made no sense. Cool, next. Yeah, so can you blow it up? I mean, furthermore? No? Possible? Okay, that's fine. So the service design blueprint, if folks want to come a bit closer, that's fine with me, but if you're comfortably settled behind, that's also okay. You guys want to come a bit closer? It requires a bit of energy, yeah. Awesome. There's a lot of space here, Yeah. Yeah. You guys can see? You can see? Wow. Okay. Do we have a whiteboard? Not a possible. There's a whiteboard? Okay. That's alright. I think I'll still use this. It's fine. Do I need a mic? I don't think I need a mic. So, a service design blueprint. Wow. Just hope that we don't get electrocuted. Okay, so this So this is a very common and a universal service design blueprint. So the previous slide that we used, that we can use is for the activities that probably will go in for today and tomorrow. But this will kind of give you an overall map. So anyone familiar with user journeys? Awesome. So this is part 2 of user journey. It's very similar to a user journey. So user journey usually has a customer journey for a particular customer. He's already yawning, but it's fine. It's a distraction for me, but it's fine. So a user journey has a set of phases, and each phase has a doing, thinking, and feeling, right? And then each of these phases will have an opportunity hook, a human-centric opportunity hook, based on the pain points a user is actually going through in that particular phase. So for example, Sriram wants to do a funds transfer to Aishwarya, right? And he has this mobile app. So he goes to the mobile app, and for some odd reason I have forgotten the login password, right? So I'm just wondering, okay, I put in a number or a password, it's not working. There is 3 attempts, it's blocked for the day. I'm thinking, oh no, why can't they make simpler stuff? I'm frustrated, and I need to do the funds transfer immediately, and it's not happening. So in this particular phase of doing, thinking, feeling, the opportunity for me is from a human-centric point of view. Can it be intelligent? Can it be simple, minimal? So you can use these kind of words, which I would also substitute as design principles. And using these words, when I start ideating, one of the idea can be, automation, maybe biometric. Biometric can be through my fingerprint or maybe my retina scan. So those ideas start getting into some kind of more concrete ideas, and then you can have a solution sketch for that, right? Make sense? No reaction? Yes. It's like a dead crowd. Wow. You can hear me, right? You're able to follow what I'm saying. Right? Good. Okay. So this basically is a simple user journey. So you will have chunks of phases, and you will have doing thinking. So this is what we do in creating experiences. But when it comes to service design blueprint, you have, there's one more. The first row is called metrics. So how do you measure? How do you measure the solution of the design that you've proposed? Anyone knows how to measure design? Any idea? Have you guys ever measured design? Good design is good business. Finally, it has to generate business. How do you measure that whatever your design is good or bad? A/B testing, okay.
Yes.
Okay, feedback. RO, okay. Any other? Any users, okay. Anyone has, okay, most of the answers are there, but anyone has heard of heart? Now she realized it. Not this heart, but there's something called the heart framework, which is very commonly used by Google, and these days even we have started using it. So it's basically about happiness, H. E is about engagement, right? A stands for adoption, R retention, T task success. So does it make sense when I speak about? It's there in Google Design Studio. But yeah, H is for happiness. Okay, sit around. So H is for happiness. E is for engagement. A is for adoption. R, retention. You need retention. See, that means I was not powerful enough. So retention. And T is task success. So how quickly can you complete a task? So a person gets happiness when he sees new content, right? When he finds delight in doing a particular service or a kind of a journey. So that's happiness. You can measure happiness through running a simple survey or something like that. E is more about engagement. So every time you go to YouTube and let's say I didn't know anything called a band that existed, which was Agam. I'm a big fan of Agam, right? So I used to follow Masala Coffee, and then YouTube suddenly comes up with Agam, and I just click on it and bonkers. For the next 2.5 months, I'm just listening to Agam. So it's kind of engaging and it's very addictive because they have come up with content which probably I can relate to. And now I'm a frequent user to YouTube channels, right? So that's one way to hook a person. The third one, A is adoption. So now I started signing up, right? So you got new users coming in. So the adoption rate is increasing. They're also retaining me. So I've become a regular user now. So there's a retention. And you can measure all this through your web analytics, through your clicks, all those things. And finally, how easy is it for me to find similar bands, right? Through an intelligence or probably through a search keyword or probably just through voice interaction, right? So now it's neatly integrated with my Alexa and my Fire Stick. So they have got an ecosystem of devices. So that's just a rough example of how you measure design. So first we have metrics. Am I good on time, by the way? Am I taking too much time? It's just probably this slide and I'm done. So you've got metrics. Yeah, if you want, you can note it down. And then you got what is the time accomplished to finish these tasks which a customer is going through, right? So that's the time, an approximate time. How much time did Sriram spend to log into ICICI Mobile? Of course, these days you just have a fingerprint and you're done. It's like so fast. You don't even realize, right? So that's the thing. Evidence. So if you say service design, it's about 3 P's. Can anyone talk about those 3 P's? Guesses on the 3 P's for service design? People. Awesome. Platform. Okay, I heard people and process. Someone has studied service design, right? Props. Yes. So those are the 3 things. So props. So people, props, and processes. That's it. If you can map these 3 things, your service design blueprint is there, right? It's almost in place. It's about managing and organizing these 3 P's. That's it. Zomato Gold is an awesome example of service design. Has anyone used Zomato Gold? I'm sure everyone has used it. No? Oh, okay. Probably bad example. But it's good. You should try it. I'm not promoting Zomato, but yeah, it's pretty good. So once you have time, then you have evidence. Most of your props. So in this case, this person wants to buy a stuff from a store. So he kind of checks the website first, right? Let's say you want to buy some. What would be a good example? Let's say you want to buy a pair of shoes. Yeah, shoes. You want to buy a pair of ugly shoes like mine, and then you go to the website. You find a lot of stuff, and then you say, the price is too much. Probably I'm a deal hunter from a persona point of view. And I say, let me look at the shops which are in my neighborhood. So I go to those retail location. I see some store signages. These are all my props. Everything comes in service design, right? So there's a website, and then you kind of look at the shop. You look at for store signages, appliance signage. In this case, it's appliance. So maybe shoes and apparel signage, and you're welcomed in the store by a salesman or a guy who meets you, right? So you have that employee guy card, whatever, lanyard and name and tag and stuff like that. You also have those boards which show, there's like shoes for men, women. If you go to Shoppers Stop, I don't want to go into the details, you have price tag, blah, blah. And of course, when you make a purchase, you need to swipe, and there's this point of sale kind of can be a kiosk, it can be a self-check-in stuff, or there's a guy in the counter who will, say cash or card and blah blah blah, and then he hands out in a delivery bag and he'll charge you for the delivery bag as well. If it's India these days, yeah. So that's your user journey, right? And if it's not available properly, he will say, आपको मैं 10 days के बाद deliver कर दूँगा. Types might happen sometimes. So I thought it was Harry Potter. It was Harry Potter, no? So that's your customer journey, and if you can just go a bit up. So there's a line of interaction. So there is a customer who's doing all these things, right? But there's this dotted line which you see is the line of interaction. With whom does he interact? With the front stage actors, right? He's interacting with the employee in this case who welcomes him to the store, who checks for inventories and stuff like that. So there's an interaction. There's also technology thing which happens. In this case, if you're in the website, probably I would like to inquire with a chatbot who will probably give some automated replies, right? Does it make sense, by the way? All this so far? Yes. Partial nods, okay. So if you go further, I'm not going to go you further. So so when you get a customer journey, then you have a line of interaction which is visible to the customer, and you have all these sales details. So for example, if I go to a restaurant, as a customer, I'm going to look for directions to go to that place. Probably I'll use Google Maps or something. I might even call up the restaurant guy to book a table. Then when I park my car, there will be a guy who is in the valet. So he will be again my front stage guy, the guy who takes the token and gives me that small piece, which sometimes is beautifully designed and otherwise it's just a piece of paper, right? And then I walk in, there will be a guard who will open probably the door for me, hopefully. And then if there's a lot of booking, they will say, can I note your name and number, blah, 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 or you have a reservation of blah, blah, blah. So these are all my front stage actors. But who can be my backstage actor in a restaurant? Can anyone tell me? Chef. Wow. I'm so happy. Cool. Any apart from chef, anyone else? Housekeeping. Okay.
First one.
Huh?
First one.
What? Waiters. Interact now. Waiters interact with you. You'll say, "Hey, dost leke aana pani." That's my front stage actor. Backstage is chef, sous chef, and all your chefs. Yes. So every morning, तो खाना कैसे बनता है? You need vegetables, you need provisions. So early morning probably there will be a truck which will come and deliver all these things. So these are my backstage actors as well as my support process guys who will probably get fish from some hand market or some place if it's Bangalore, and kind of on new frosties if you're running out too late. So all those are my backstage. So as a customer, I don't get to interact with them. I just get to interact with certain players. And so when you're designing a service design, you need to consider all these actors in the ecosystem. Am I making sense? Yes. So this map will help you achieve. Say something, yeah.
Clarity.
Clarity is a good word, yeah. It will give you clarity. It's more about organization, and you won't miss any actors in your ecosystem, right? So you won't just start thinking about one person, but you'll start having an inclusive design, which is more important. Someone is smiling. Okay, cool. You can go scroll. So in this case, yeah, you got some backstage folks, inventory management, point of sale, blah blah blah, accounting, support SaaS. So this particular person even understands how many people come to that store on a weekday and a weekend, so you can accordingly create larger areas and think about the crowd management as well. So it's not just about building a shopper stop, but also thinking about other things. Ki weekend mein you need extra parking in shopper stop, otherwise you're like screwed. So all those things takes into account. So between backstage and your support, there's a line of internal interaction. When, for example, this guy who understands, size 8 shoe is not available, so he's going to actually go to the distributor and check whether it can be.
So why is point of sale backstage? Point of sale could be
point of sale system, not just a kiosk. So for example, if this is being handled by a third party in that case, so it's ICICI or whatever. Yeah. So basically this constitutes, if you go a bit down. Oh, I did add this slide, yeah. So yeah, we talked about metrics, time, customer journey, and emotions. In each of your journey, it's about also the emotions, doing, thinking, feeling from a customer point of view, from a chef point of view, from a valet who takes a service, your cars for valet. His only job is to stand under the sun without a shade and give you a ticket and greet you with a smile, because he's your first impression. So he has to be at his best. He should not be thinking of body odor also, right? When he's going to drive the car and park it. So you need to think about all those things when you're actually designing a good system, right? Questions? So this is a blueprint. capture the emotions also. I'm open to questions if you have any, and that's the end. Cool. Okay. Yeah, Ananya. Thank you, guys.
Don't you think we should also take care of the emotions of the people who are actually just close to the line of interaction?
Yeah, we should actually. We should think about everyone when you're looking at designing a system, the emotions of people who are in the process system, internal line of interaction, as well as I would go even a bit outside. So there are different systems which are in play when I'm running a restaurant. It also includes legal governance, getting your license, liquor license. There's so many things. So if you do your first foundation course in design and you do a systems design mapping, you'll have so many such systems which are going to affect your protagonist, and a change in that particular design can shake up the whole system. So if you create a design system which is inclusive, which is honest, which is responsible, then I think it's a good win. Yeah. So you have to be really empathetic towards all your actors. It's a huge challenge, but of course in 3 days or 2 days it's impossible, humanly impossible. If you do it, that means you're a genius. That's why I say everything is a prototype. Yeah. Any questions? Okay. Cool.
Any books you'd like to suggest?
Books
Service design.
on service. And I was about to say Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, but yeah. Okay, on service design, I actually learned from Slack channels, if you ask me. So I'm a member in the service design channel. There is a book exclusive on service design. I'm not a big thing on books. I go through Medium, Slack, microbytes of information, which can be fake news as well. Someone was talking about fake news the other day. So hopefully these channels are genuine and they are giving the right information. This was picked by Nielsen and Norman's group. It's not created by me. It's universally accepted, these charts, so you can follow them. But I would say as a designer, just be open. Don't just limit yourself to books. If you have books, put it in the Slack channel. Someone will buy it. Yeah.
So this product design and service design are two different.
I think everything is so. Yeah, when you're creating a product, also it influences people, right? Community. So for example, this bounce is a service, but the product that you created there was that vehicle, that electric vehicle. So in a way, it influences your service when you're creating a product.
I'm trying to understand. So let's say I'm a business owner who wants to sell electric vehicles to the homeowners. Should I go with this one, or
You should think about these guys. You can't just build a vehicle, because if you're building a vehicle, so example, one of the latest vehicles which I've seen is Ether, which is done by some IIT folks. It's completely electrical in nature, and they're going to give you 1 whole year of free charge. So they just didn't build a product. They built a product, and they're also giving why you should go for the product. They're looking at the environment as such. They're also looking at the responsible part. They're saying, it's value for money from a customer point of view. You don't have to, fill in fuel. So 1 year I'm going to give you free recharge. Plus, they know which cities they need to launch. They know Bangalore has a lot of IT companies, so they have studied that. And they know that IT companies give free electricity recharges in their company basements. So it's actually, if I own Ether and I'm working in IBM, I can charge it free of cost. I won't be charged. So when you're looking at a product also, you need to be aware of the ecosystem that is in place, because you build a product and then you find it's kind of fake. Forget a product, even a film or anything that you're creating as a designer, you need to make sense so that it gets absorbed by the audience and it's not too a hard sell for you, right? You don't have to sell really hard. It just gets sold.
so actually I'm running a solar energy company.
Mm-hmm.
So is this one should I follow in order to?
You should consider the systems in play when you're running a solar energy company. Probably we should talk, and you can hire me as a consultant.
Great.
Yeah. It's cheap ways to market. Any more questions, guys? They don't want you to talk. Here. Yeah.
It's more from the point of view of industry. So when you go as a designer, as a service designer, and you say you want to do all this process, which is going to take minimum of 8 to 10 weeks, and then business say we don't have that much of time, obviously. So how you convince the business for this?
Great question, because it keeps happening in IBM most of the time. But what we do is, so recently we did a service design blueprint for ANZ in 1 week's time, just through secondary research, through qualitative research. What I always tell my clients is, there is the right method, and it involves so many steps, which is going to cost you a lot. It's going to take a lot of time. But sometimes you need to go for the T20 version, right? You're still playing cricket, but in a shorter format. So we did a service design blueprint, but and ANZ is based out of Melbourne, right? I mean, it's Australia, New Zealand. So obviously you're not going to fly in a week's time and come up with a service design blueprint. So what we did was, there's a jugaad way of doing. You have to circumvent the process. So we did a service design blueprint, and we actually gave them a point of view. It was more for the procurement. So in an organization, you basically need to procure laptops or consultants, hire consultants or contractors. So it was ANZ had a 20-step procurement process with a lot of red tapeism and redundant forms that to be filled, very cumbersome process to do. And they saw procurement as a huge thing. But when we started looking at it from a service design blueprint kind of mindset, we said we should not even look at procurement. We should say, how can purchasing be made easier, right? So we actually, because purchasing is thrilling, it's delightful. Whereas if you say procurement and you go to any company, it's like, oh, I need to raise a laptop procurement, I have to fill in all these fields. So even the way when we started with that kind of a brief, when we elevated the brief, why I'm saying this is, the service design blueprint that we use to map the customer's journey, to understand the pain points, the time that was being taken to accomplish that journey, as well as the opportunity hooks that it provided us, gave us valuable inferences. Because inferences are based on assumptions, right? I can't say for a fact that it will work. It will work only if I test with the employees of ANZ. So we never said that, I want a laptop with these specifications. I said, I want a laptop which is got the same specifications of Ananya Bhaumik's. That's it. That's how we say. Or I'm looking for a person who's a designer who's the same as this person, gentleman who's sitting. I hope you're a designer. So someone like him, yeah, that's it. So no forms, nothing, it understands. And we tested it out after like 8 weeks in a bootstrap phase, and it works. Of course, there are some issues, but from the question point of view, yes, you try and follow the method as much as possible in a smaller format. Don't give up on the processes that have scientific proved it works. So let's use it. It's easy for you to convince your stakeholders than believing in some assumptions. So yeah, so with the same cost or whatever, we were still able to accomplish maybe 80% or 70 to 80% of the problem. Yeah, answers? One last. Designers, I in fact take pride that I'm also a product owner, because I know what is now, next and beyond. Though I work in a multidisciplinary team, and we do have product owners for that particular product. So I was in Samsung for like 6.5 years, and we have clarity as to, okay, after smartphones it's going to be IoT, and after IoT it's going to be multimodal interactions which will be into play, and then you will have probably modular interfaces which will break out, and the experiences are going to be different. So you have a vision as to how technology is progressing, how your behavioral archetypes are, the consumption patterns are of your customers, who can be your potential new customers, how the whole economy is changing. So you have some idea, and as a designer, you are always heads up because you're going to read a lot. You're going to look at disparate things and then start connecting the dots and see how things can be progressed. So whenever you do ideas, what we do is, don't always look at an idea which has got high impact and feasibility, because those are the ones which are going to just help you for implementing it now. But what you need to do is also look at ideas which may not have feasibility now, but probably later on. So always go for that kind of a roadmap, which is now, next, and beyond. In that ways, you will know that my goal is probably teleportation, but today I'm still at driverless cars like Waymo, right? There's this Google spin-off which is testing in Arizona, Phoenix. So that's the first step, I would say. Yeah. Cool, thanks guys. Wonderful interacting with all of you.
Thank you.